Well, Stephen, if we look at the support that such an ecosystem needs now to supplement the technological aspects, what needs to change in how senior management sees the role of IT systems?
Well, I think rather than being sort of just IT enabled, I think it's wider than that. So obviously, clearly, technology has a big aspect to play, and being able to, as I said earlier, expose those internal capabilities from the inside out is key. Using some of the technologies that Karthik has referenced, but I think really it's to really change that and move that from a technology look and feel and roadmap to one that's more enabling the business. So it's really about going on a journey with both internal and external representatives of the business in terms of what the demand would be, figuring out what makes sense commercially, and then doing a bit of test and learn. I don't think it is complicated and it wouldn't come easily. So really it's about identifying the opportunities, doing some test and learn, and building it up iteratively. So rather than going big bang, sort of using a more agile approach, try a few things out, and that in itself will stimulate demand. So as and when opportunities arise, and people go into partnership with CSPs and start to develop the capabilities, that will hopefully grow more demand, and it will become a sort of rolling activity then. But I think I guess the first initial step is to go from the traditional business models that we have, and to try and evolve into new business models going forward. But I guess all telcos, all CSPs are, I guess, looking at similar types of activities, and really it's about what's going to work in the near term, do a bit of test and learn, and then hopefully as the network, particularly around 5G again, as that network capability grows, then that should provide more opportunity. But I do think we need to I guess put our toes in the water and try and stimulate and move forward iteratively.
Interesting. And I imagine that market awareness and kind of market education piece is a huge part of this. So going a little bit kind of off the beaten track here, and we'll off-road altogether. How's Three working with enterprises and B2B customers to kind of deliver and promote that market education piece and help them realize really what's available?
I guess one of the advantages of having a mature B2B market and having those customer relationships is you're continually working with your customers in terms of how can we help you grow your business. So whilst as a CSP we want to grow our business, but clearly how can we help our customers grow their business and sort of feed off each other to some degree. So we do a lot of communication and a lot of work with customers, and we try and sort of see how we can help each other out. So clearly we want to grow our business with our customers, and by giving them the opportunity to grow theirs, it's a win-win situation. So really it is about education. It's about showing the art of the possible, and then working in partnership with customers and with other third parties to develop those I guess opportunities and capabilities. Yeah, so it's definitely very much a collaborative approach that's required.
Great. Well, Karthik, got a bit of a hat-trick of a question for you here. It's a bit of a long one, but if we just look at Torry Harris as a business, I mean, you're obviously a specialist systems integrator and have been for more than 23 years. So first of all, how do you deliver value to telcos? Also, do you see that legacy should coexist with cloud and API first initiatives? But also, as a company, what kind of assistance can you provide here?
Sure. So basically, from our experience, what you have seen is legacy is the reality. I mean, every large organization, the systems have accumulated over the years, and it's completely not practical for organizations to switch off the legacy and procure a shiny new cloud-based solution overnight, right? So from our experience, we have seen that there will be coexistence of legacy and modern cloud-based applications. And the real challenge, and this is exactly where we bring our expertise to the table, is to see how legacy and the modern cloud-based applications can coexist, right? So this is where the cloud native style of integration plays a big role. and what we call the hybrid integration model. So the hybrid integration landscape defines a set of building blocks that allows your traditional middleware to exist. Because if you look at any large telco, there would be a message-oriented middleware, there would be an enterprise service bus, which would have evolved over the period of time. Your BSS OSS systems would have gone through several cycles of upgrades, and there would be integration points with your BSS applications, with your customer management applications, with your front-end channels. So to offer these new B2B offerings, we need to look at it first from a customer journey standpoint. For an offering, what are the customer journeys? And to fulfill the customer journey, what are the data points required? What are the business processes required? And then do a step-by-step fitment to see how legacy and cloud can coexist. So we have defined a framework to allow telcos and other large enterprises to pick and choose based on the usage scenario, how to go about it. So to illustrate what I'm talking about, let me show you a quick diagram. So we have a detailed version of this diagram, which is basically a decision tree. But a simplified form of the decision tree is to show you how the coexistence can happen. So we have three models. So model A is coexistence of your BSS systems and third-party SaaS-based, or the modern cloud-based solutions. Model B is a combination of model A. It's an incremental model. So you have your BSS systems, and you also have the cloud native based integration components like your microservices. And microservices by design are containerized. So the idea of containerization is it allows you to modularize and put the pieces of legacy in the container so that the data required for that capability resides within the container. And these containers can latch on to frameworks like Docker and Kubernetes that can scale up and scale down based on the demand. So that way you can pick and choose the components of legacy so that you can decompose these legacy into modular microservices, and you can do this progressively. And how do you pick and choose these use cases? It's completely driven by your business priority. So we don't recommend a kind of a big bang migration approach, which again doesn't make sense as well, because in most cases you really don't need all the capabilities of legacies all at once. So progressively, you can move components from the legacy and recast them as containerized microservices. And the progressive model C is a combination of both model A and model B. So which means you still use the traditional integration to integrate with your BSS OSS, and you use microservices based on cloud native, and you still use SaaS-based applications for your third party. So to put all these building blocks together, this is how your landscape typically would look like. So you would have your API gateway that acts as the routing layer. So it seamlessly hides the underlying complexity and the underlying challenges. So it can seamlessly route between your traditional ESB-based middleware. It can route to your event-driven components like your Apache Kafka, for example. It can route to your microservices, which is built on the cloud native. And obviously what's not shown here is the cloud SaaS-based applications, which would actually fit in here in one of your backends. So all these components fit together and what we call as the hybrid cloud native integration platform. So to show you how the modernization roadmap can be created by CSPs, so we have put together a map to show how the traditional building blocks that have evolved over the years map to the modern cloud native hybrid integration platform. So this kind of gives an idea in terms of how to pick and choose, and it's very important that there's no such thing as a one size fits all based architecture. So you use the architecture that I showed in the previous slide as a baseline, as a reference, and you use these mapping, and then you work backwards in terms of prioritization, which B2B business models you need to offer first, what are the customer journeys, and which components in the architecture you need to build in a progressive manner. So that's how we generally approach this. So we do have a legacy to cloud native kit, which talks about how all these components that I showed come together in the form of frameworks, processes, governance rules, and decision matrices.
What has been your biggest learning in your transformation journey to date? And do you have any words of wisdom to others on similar paths?
I guess the one thing I have learned is that in terms of any transformation, and whether it's related to B2B opportunities or otherwise, it's that it can never be a technology only transformation. It's got to be business led, and it's got to be top down. So the whole organization has to be behind it. Transformations by their very nature are very challenging and complicated, and really the trick is to try and do them quickly. If any transformation program that I've been involved in that takes too long, by the time you get to complete it, the world has moved on. So it's very important that you really, in terms of evolving, that it's an evolution rather than a revolution, if that's possible. And as Karthik outlined in some of his slides, and every CSP and every business is at a different stage of the journey. It's really about what makes sense for you, and really it's about trying to evolve it over time, and not try and go with a big bang approach. But really, it's that it needs to be business led. It's got to be it's not just a technology thing. Clearly, people are very important because it takes people to make the technology changes, but also to put in place the right processes, to have that customer communication, customer management, and really bringing your organization, but also your customers on the journey is very important.